You're listening to the Good Food CFO podcast, where we focus on financial strategies for building a profitable food business. I'm your host, Sarah Delavan. Today on the podcast, I am joined by Asha Mody. She is the founder and chief brand officer of Mindsy, a full-service branding and design firm helping female entrepreneurs create, transform, and elevate their brands through a mindful approach. Asha and I had a great conversation about how your brand strategy not only serves in reaching your customers and boosting revenue, but also creates clarity, alignment, and clear direction for your business internally, from your CEO to your CFO to your customer-facing teams. The end result is an increased return on investment and improved profitability. Asha explains brand strategy and its internal and external benefits in such an approachable way. And she presented so many financial benefits, I actually lost count. If you think you've heard all there is to hear about the importance of brand strategy, I encourage you to listen in. Let's get to it. Hi, Asha. Welcome to the podcast.
Hey, Sarah. Thank you so much for inviting me here.
I'm so excited to talk with you today. But before we dive into our main topic, I wanted to ask you a question about your business name. As I mentioned in the intro, you are the founder and chief brand officer of Mindsy. And I know that there's some meaning to that name. Can you share a little bit about that with us?
Yeah, of course, would love to. So my studio name is Mindsy Design. We specialize in brand design, but Mindsy stands for more mindfulness. It's what actions we are taking towards our brand or audience we are mindfully and have intuition behind it. Like, what is your intention behind taking this action? So every action for brand design we do to serve our client or customer, or they do it, it is strategized and it's mindfully designed and crafted for them. Yeah, that's why we call Mindsy.
I love that. And I understand correctly that you moved from actually doing design of packages to focusing more on brand strategy. Why did you make that move?
So I still do packaging designs and design stuff, but my move to focus more on brand strategy is because I'll tell you a story. When I was early age designer and I used to work for in-house designer for big corporate companies or clients, I used to see creative department or creative manager has certain kind of role. They get information from CEO or marketing director or CMO, and then translate that to creative department, and designers understand in certain way. Those words cannot be translated in the same way what they are envisioning it. So there is a one blur factor, the same emotion or same intention was not described. And that's why designer needs to be in the C-level suit job so they understand the vision. The second thing I noticed it and really observe closely that everybody had a different direction, Sarah. Like CEO had his own vision where this company is going, where this brand is going. And marketing director had a very different vision. Brand manager had a different vision. So if I'm designing an ad, she's asking me to design a different way and get pretty looking things. On court, pretty looking things doesn't get ROI to business. There are lots of strategy behind it. And then chief creative officer, they are asking different thing. And CEOs then not liking design. And I was seeing this mess that everybody is on not same page. And then that helped me to dive deeper that what needs to be done? What is the basic necessity to success the brand, to bring the ROI to business? It has to really strategize well. And every action you take mindfully to serve that goal. Yeah. So that's why I become brand strategist, and I do not touch any design till I'm not clear with the strategy or what is the objective or goal behind it, what you try to achieve out of this action. And they are spending money in marketing. And then I usually see, like you must be knowing, Sarah, you are so experienced in the good food industry. Like each year, more than 30,000 new products are introducing in market. Right. Only 5% of those products are surviving in the first year.
Wow.
That means people, it's so much noise on internet. It's so many products competing with each other. So consumer don't have time to compare and compete, there's so much of lack of emotions, and there's so much of speed going on, and especially after COVID, the C generation, it is all the aspect has been changed. So I have generally, when on coffee conversation, my client comes and I see they ask, like, we have a great tasty product. It is so yummy. We are getting so much good reviews and feedback. We are pouring so much money in marketing, but there is no result. The ROI is not there. Sales are not increasing. There's not good traffic on e-commerce. So this pattern of problems, I'm seeing it. And that's why really, like recently brand I did for the chocolate brand, which was Canada company. And then they say, our product is good, but our packaging, people are misunderstanding it because there's no clear messaging. You are not clear about your customer, what you are targeting to, with whom you are talking. You don't understand their pain points.
Yeah.
And then how your brand plays role in their life. So those all clarity only comes after strategy. And then you design your brand or a packaging accordingly to get the results. I hope that makes sense.
It definitely makes sense. Yeah. I think when we typically think about brand strategy, we're thinking about how our brand is being communicated to the consumer and to the public. And I think what's really interesting that you hit on is that, the CEO, the CMO, the CFO, right, the design team, they also need to be really clear on what is the brand strategy so that they can all work together and really have a united front to move that business forward. So I think it's a really interesting take on brand strategy, or even I should say conversation around brand strategy.
Yeah, totally. And you must have understand, you are an entrepreneur too, and our listeners and me myself as an entrepreneur mindset.
Yeah.
So it's probably, just going to validate this with the listeners too, that we have all energy, resources, and budget. How much? It's different on different situation for the startup company, mid-level company, rebranding, big companies. But we have those things, but everything is going in so many different directions with so many different people. Yeah. The budget is going, they do not have any, the finance expert, like they do not have a planning properly on where they are putting their money and what is ROI on business, they suffer. But why this strategy helps? That's a typical mindset. Like even I had this issue in past, and now I understand that it's going in all that direction, this arrow, where to do, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do that. But why does the strategy help is like different places hoping something will take off. And they put different sources and budget in different ways. That something will take off and get results.
Yeah.
It's like a blind spot, you're shooting in the blind.
Yeah.
Why the strategy matters is strategy defines the crucial aspects of your business, and it distills the lofty thoughts into a planned, actionable information. So really the idea behind strategy is to finding the brand soul, and it's something in simple language. There is a point A and there is a point B, and there are the steps in between to reach from point A to point B. Correct? So point A is your brand.
Okay.
Point B is your customer. So to reach your brand to your customer, what are the easy steps you need to do in between? How to plan, how to talk to them, how to understand. All this is designed and well planned. So your resources, your budget, your finances, your marketing, energy, time, everything goes in one direction. The time is the most valuable asset. It's like how much $1 billion you give, you don't get that time back, right? So imagine if you have this well planned and going in that one right direction to take a leap, and everybody is going, imagine, in one clear direction, how much that brand will take a leap.
Yeah. I can share a little story from, it used to be that I consulted for a brand, a business owner. And it was just he and I that that met and had conversations around financials. And now as the businesses grow and they're really trying to take their brands to the next level, there might be a sales and marketing person, or there might be a social media strategist, or there might be a production manager, right? There's other experts or team members in the business. And we find that when we all come together at least once a month, right, to get on the same page, there is so much good stuff that happens in those moments. And so this idea of knowing where you are now, your point A and your point B, and knowing, and maybe you can talk a little bit about this, but there's getting from point A to point B in terms of your customer's view, right? What they're seeing, what they're receiving at point B. But then internally, I have this sort of mental picture of like the little team inside the company that's really moving it along, like physically from point A to point B, right? It's like all things need to be working together to actually get you there. Or maybe you arrive, but your ROI won't be what it could be if you had all been on the same page.
Yes, totally. You are right. And to visualize those pictures, I would also give you a little more example, or simply to understand, the brand strategy is like matchmaking. You are like going on dating. Okay. So if you are the person A and then you want to meet person B. So it's not only person A is going to go involved.
Gotcha.
It's not only the brand. It's about the customer also, right? So it's very important in an action plan for brand to get point A to point B, and typically the brand is a point A, and the ideal customer, I would say ideal customer, or you can say client, is so you have those two things, and how we are making, what orders we are making to connect it. So like matchmaking, you will see surface the unique insights about the brand. What is the X factors of the brand? What is the unique story? Why did the brand exist? There are funny exercise, not funny, I mean, like the very deep exercise, I would say we do it is, I learned this from legendary Martin Umayer. He's a brand strategy masters. And of course, there are lots of books I read on it. Like write your obituary. Like when you are not in the room, what you want people to see behind you, because that brand is the co-founder or founder or whoever they have something unique in them, why they bought this product in the market.
Yeah.
So you surface those unique insights from that brand. What is a unique story? Is it a unique ingredients, or is it a story behind it? Did something happen in their lives? That authentic story or originality, which is a plus point to get in the market and stand out amongst the competitors in the noisy market. So that's 8% you are surfacing about the brand, and the surface unique insights about the customers also, right? Like husband and wife, if you get. So unique insight about you. I need to know, her hobbies are matching me, or I'm a music person and she hates music, then there is something going on. And maybe, or is she interested to come and learn music, or you need to figure that out, otherwise the matchmaking is not happening. So customers have that unique insight. They have certain pain points in their life, there's certain lifestyles, certain mindset. Maybe they are in more sustainability, clean ingredients, maybe particular diet or keto or vegan. Those are the terms, but actually what is the behind the cause, what is the root cause? And you are matching those point A and point B, and we create the plot, how to connect those two. That's a strategy. That's the strategy. In between what all that happens, and then the brand is, then we are attracting the customers, we are serving like a date. You are attracting each other, you are serving each other, maybe you are cooking special meal for them, or you are delighting by a romantic date night, or, having a surprises, and then they advocate for you. So if you see in the financial terms, what happens that customers fall in love with your brand. They become a brand's best friends.
Yeah.
So if you're a mom, and like, if I like some product and I love it and it works for my kids or it works for my family, I go and tell my 10 friends, hey, I use this and this is so good. So they become hidden ambassadors of your brand. If you really solve their problems and serve them, And if I don't like it, I go and tell 100 people, don't ever buy this. It won't work for you because I don't want my friend. So it is very important to understand that, is your brand solving customer problem? Is it making their life better? Is it making their life easier? They already have so much going on in your life. You don't want to create more noise, but you want to make their life easier. And so they attract to your brand and they go and tell 10 more people. That becomes a repeatable buyer. They become your hidden ambassadors and they market for you. You don't spend too much money if you do the matchmaking in marketing then.
Yeah. I love that analogy of matchmaking for brand strategy because it makes so much sense. I think thank you for breaking it down in a way that uses simple and relatable terms. Yeah, I totally love that. So we know what the process is now, what the goal is, right? As you just described. How can the brand strategy affect the business internally in a positive way? Can you talk to some of like the benefits of having a clear brand strategy? I know from a financial perspective, and I'll just say this very broadly, and then maybe you can dial it in for us, is we know where we want to spend our money, right? Like if we know where our audience is, like where they're spending time, then perhaps our marketing budget, we know exactly where we're going to spend the money. And then that will help inform the budget. Can you expand on other ways that the clear brand strategy supports the internal operations and then essentially the financial results of the business?
Yeah, absolutely. So what my clients also gets results out of this benefit of from strategy is, first is they can allocate their funds to maximize the ROI. And you understand that ROI, you can't see in a day. It takes time in a year to see the reports, to see the ROI. So I help my clients with the brand strategy to give them clarity where to allocate their funds accordingly, what make the most sense from the term. Like I have my very unique mindful process of connecting with the user. I do data but driven research and analysis, but data is past. I want to focus on future, what people want. So I actually take a real user interviews to understand that what actually they need. And it gives me so much discovery.
Yeah.
So it gives me clarity that what makes more sense for this brand to take action. And I present that to my client and they get clarity. Oh, they spend time here more. Oh, they want this in the life. So maybe I craft my product accordingly. Oh, they like to hear this kind of words. The ingredients are this much more important, or the story is much more important. So then we know what to put on packaging, because you are understanding their need and you are putting that in your messaging or your visual or whatever marketing effort you are doing it. And it maximizes their ROI because you are creating that mindful roadmap plan for them, where the customer's journey is.
Yeah. I'll connect another dot there. I don't know if the episode will have aired by the time this episode airs, but had a conversation with Anna Bradshaw, who's a copywriter, and she speaks a lot about talking to your consumer and understanding what issues do they have in their life, right? What's important to them, what matters to them about your product, what, just so many questions. And she presents them all, but then utilizing that to write the copy for your product on your website. So I'm making a direct connection between brand strategy, where you're asking these questions as well, right?
Yes.
Then you're investing money in a copywriter, in perhaps a brand new website. And because you knew where to focus your energy to ask these questions, that maybe your target audience likes to shop online and have products delivered to their home, right? So now you're investing here and you're saying all the right things along the customer journey. So now you've got a purchase, right? You've converted a visitor to a customer, and right there is a return on our investment. So for me, I just thought, I can see how this actually works now from start to finish.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you said beautifully, it's a customer journey, you understand. And I will tell you, like yesterday only, I delivered one roadmap to my client, but understand they were creating content for the websites, and the copywriter always write with what they understand from the brand and hear it.
Mm-hmm.
But even in the strategy, we give them all the customer journey, as I say, matchmaking, right?
Yeah.
Where is the awareness? When they see each other first? Where is the consideration happen? What are the common points are happening and consideration? And then what is the awareness happening? What you're doing to do certain thing to show up in their world? And then how do they advocate?
Yeah.
So we show that journey. And when the copywriter I presented, we do it as a verbal identity. There's a visual identity, which is a creative design aspect, but there is a verbal identity, because in the interview, we discover some juicy language and keywords and voice and tone of the brand. So copywriter was like, thank you. Because they got a clear direction now, what to write for the web copy, what to write the messaging statement, and how to communicate in what voice and tone customers are getting. Are we sincere or corporate? Are we fun or playing? So they get clarity, and they can make a better content to serve your audience, which connects with them. Instead of just going again in the blind spot, right?
Yeah.
So that is a really good point of copywriter you mentioned, and it just popped in my head. The other things are, I think I get or heard from my customers and benefit as reach the revenue, like not only getting the ROI to the business, because brand strategy is a portion of the, like a main foundation of the brand, how the brand should grow and take a shape in the market. And for the ROI, you can't see in a year, but how to do awareness of that brand and how to put it in the world, verbally or creatively, and or with the messaging and designs, everything. So once it helps to grow brand awareness so much, we are very clear which platforms your customers hanging out, which language they use, what do they listen, and everything is strategized on their needs and on, are we serving their needs? Are we perfect fit for it? And we are checking that perfect matchmaking. And then you are doing on those platforms. So brand awareness increases so much. I remember my client gave me a beautiful comment that when we send the packaging for testing, and we do testing before the market and the big founders and the influencers in the company, they say, the baby is born healthy. So when the brand is born healthy, you do not have to struggle down the road. Only you have to take care of good nourishment and putting in the right direction, right energy, and then brand grows by itself. Right. But imagine if baby is not born healthy, if it has so much different, some disability or some issues, it takes so much challenges, right? Yeah. So the brand born's healthy, the strategy is done, and then you can see how the revenue will increase and ROI come to business. And the third benefit, Sarah, I want to see, it's an emotional effect. And I'm more people-oriented brand, more mindfulness about the people and consciousness, why we are doing what we are doing. The brand strategy brings the clarity, confidence, alignment, and motivation to your internal team and also external team. It's the emotional aspects for the brand, right? So what you do, what drives you to get up night 2:00 also and work for your brand? Right. It's hard work. I'm not denying that, but something is driving within you, why you are doing what you're doing it, right? And as I discussed with you earlier in the starting, that I saw all the people internally in a different aspect, different platform. Like, I was creating one ad, Sarah, and then I went to take a scratch salesperson's head. That, hey, what kind of customers are giving you feedback? What is the complaint? So, we design accordingly. He said, I don't know what I'm doing. Customers are doing something different and they want this and our brand is getting this. I'm like, holy cow, this is complete mismatch. Yeah. So that's why you need to strategize, and they should feel aligned. First, they should feel motivated. They should feel aligned with the brand mission, vision, or whatever the purpose. And brand strategy gives them the clarity. This is our story. These are the words we are using it. This is the mission we are going to serve XYZ in the market. Like Mark Zuckerberg, he says that like Amazon, we want to make a most user-centric brand, right? He's very clear about it. So what is the purpose driving you? Those all things are very clear. It's just not in the head of CEO or a board of directors or founders. You are communicating a clear path. So if you give that strategy document to anyone, they should understand brand soul. It's the soul of the brand, that this is our values. We stand for this. We never unempathize with people. We care for them. We never ignore customer complaints. We have this values. So if any those things are clear, so everybody in the internal team, in your team, and also decision makers goes in one direction.
Yeah.
Then there is less friction. You know what I mean?
I do. Yeah. And I'm sitting here thinking, like, these real world examples keep popping into my mind. When I was a buyer, worked for a really great catering company here in LA, and I was buying, I'll use an example. We only offered salmon during salmon season. So we didn't buy previously frozen salmon, right? It was like, and it was whatever type of salmon was actually in season. And there were a lot of customers who wanted salmon, you know, when we weren't offering it. And internally, everyone on the team, it couldn't just be the owners and me who knew what the brand strategy was and how to live that strategy of seasonal, you know, sustainable, right? That was really what the brand was built on. That had to be communicated all the way through to every salesperson, to the wait staff for on-site events, right? Everyone really needed to know not only that, oh, we don't serve salmon now, and that's not on the menu, but why, right? And to educate those people. And you could turn an upset customer into an educated, happy customer who's excited to support a business who's really walking the walk. So right there from a financial standpoint is customer acquisition, right? So you're getting the sale, but then like you said before, now this person is a fan and they are going to recommend the business to other people in their community. So I totally get that. And I think it's this conversation is really exciting to me because it's really driving home all of the benefits of brand strategy and how it really filters through or should filter through to everyone on your team. I love it.
Yes. I love the word you say, filter, Sarah, because that's one exercise also we do is we create a one statement brand filter. So any decision marketing director is taking or CEO is taking or creative design people taking or brand manager is taking or event organizer is taking, everybody has to filter that one statement. If it is serving statement, then we are taking the decision. If not, toss it off. So I had two co-founders of one company, okay? Happened to be husband, wife. Okay. So when
I'm already nervous.
It's a beautiful thing, right? Because God makes us unique from each other. We don't want 10 Ashas around me, or we don't want 10 Sarahs around. It's blessings to have different mindset people. But what I'm addressing here is if one co-founder wants to take one decision to invest somewhere here in this marketing campaign, and the second founder is not agreeing with it. So you're wasting time of friction, the energy is not aligning it, the vibe is not happy and not driving, and the sales team or marketing people have no direction. What am I going to do? Which founder to listen and which not to listen? Right? That's a chaos. So this kind of brand strategy or brand filter statement helps everybody because it's spent 4 to 5 weeks of process behind it, validating in market, checking with customer, and coming to that strategy roadmap. So we see how brand is going to go in one direction and take a shape. Now there is no friction. You can make a simple one filter, which helps everybody to go from sales team to event team to trade show to CEO. Everybody knows where we are going. So it's beautiful word. I'm glad you reminded the filter word because I just recently worked on the filter statement. It was in my head. So thanks for sharing.
You're welcome. I'm glad.
And one more thing, benefit I see is, you know who to target and how to talk to them. As you just spoke about the salmon example, that how to educate them, but how to talk to them also, right? What kind of language you use. And also brand doesn't know, our clarity of the story. So what happens here, the other thing helps with the brand strategy is how to talk their own story. So brand is having like little high points, but what is the main essence of the story which needs to be told to customers? So I don't even know how to describe like what is like they say, I don't know how to describe what is unique about my brand. What is the X factor or North Star of my brand? They can't put it in the words. So we go through this whole exercise and it helps them to discover that North Star, that X factor, ingredient, story, or whatever this authentic, like a main X factor. And that is the most important part of your brand is brand positioning. That helps you position your brand and differentiate amongst the competitor. So if you see packaging, and I've shared this on my course and different platform also, that research shows from Nelson also that it takes only 3 to 4 seconds to pick your packaging from the shelves. What you want to say on the packaging, how it has to look, what emotion has to create it, there is a whole strategy behind it. You can't just put everything and slam on it. And you need to try beta version, try and tested version. But then you want to make a bigger impact, reach out the different market and reach out to customers, then it has to be planned well. So strategy helps them to create their own story on positioning in the market. Where is the white space? Am I different is not enough. Disrupting is necessity.
Right.
So then only you can stand out in the noisy market. And you must have seen Chobani brand. I'm pretty sure earlier packaging, if you remember, Sarah.
Yeah.
They were getting lost in the ocean of the yogurt and how they strategize it and imagine, and they understood their customers so well. They did the rebranding and they have done phenomenal job. Like they did artisan look, the cozy colors, the brand typeface changed, and now it connects so much with their users and they are kind of standing out and their sales have increased so much. So you see how the strategy, it helps to know their authentic, what we stand for, and it can communicate to that right ideal customer. So that's a perfect marriage happens. And advocacy happens by itself and the children comes to life, right? Like the fruits comes to life. So
it's interesting. Sitting in the CFO seat, there have been a couple brands that I've worked with and like, we've got to do a website redesign. We've got to do a packaging redesign, but there was no why behind it. And so, you know, why is the change necessary and what will the benefits or the result of that change be? The person who is trying to provide guidance on spending and investment, if we don't know why, or there's not a cohesive reasoning behind it, it's really hard to say, okay, invest this substantial amount of money in this rebrand or, you know, redesign of the website. But I think, and I'm kind of speaking for myself here, but if a founder came to me and said, we've got a clear brand strategy. We've identified that the packaging is not resonating with our target audience, and this is why, and these are the changes that we want to make. It's very easy for me to say, here's how we can make that money available, or here, you know what I mean? It just, it's motivating, you know, from that financial seat. And so I think what I'm kind of realizing here is that when you've got the brand strategy and everyone is informed, as you said early on in our conversation, it really becomes much easier to collaborate, right? There's often conversations, and I think they're kind of stereotypical conversations, but like marketing wants to spend money and the finance department is like, we don't want to spend any money, right? But I think if we are all on the same page about the why and the benefits, it becomes easier to collaborate and work together.
Absolutely. You nailed it. Yes, totally 100%. And I see this like, and that's why when we do strategy, our first request is all the decision makers are in the room, CMO, CEO, everybody. We want to know what vision they have. Are we even on the same page for this workshop? Do they know why we are doing what we're doing? So that is very important step. But when you say this, you know, simple, like, example, like you have a backache, suppose, okay? And you ask me, I have a pain, can you give me painkiller? Okay. So as you said, CFO have to provide finance, they want to do marketing campaign, right? I need a painkiller. What exactly they want out of this is what is pain causing for? Like, what is causing? What is the root cause of that pain? That's what needs to be solved. It's not just making my logo beautiful. I had yesterday one sales call, and they said, like, I love my colors. It really relates with my yellow, and my teal color is perfectly fine. I just want you to change my packaging. I'm happy with my website. So I'm like, I'm trying to understand what is the root cause. Why are you changing even your packaging if you're liking it? There's no, what is the intention? And that's where mindfulness comes. Like, what is causing your back pain?
Yeah.
Find the root problem.
Yeah. Cause it might be in the case of the back pain that, an Advil isn't going to do it because the Advil doesn't have an effect on the thing that's causing the pain. Right. If it's, I don't know how medicine works exactly, but I know that some are for inflammation, right? And others are not. And so if you're treating inflammation and you don't have inflammation, there's something else happening in there. You're not going to get the result that you're looking for. Likewise with the packaging, you love the colors, but you don't like the design. So you want to change the packaging, but what will the result be? Right.
Yeah.
What is
what
the
you're
benefit?
trying to achieve. Yeah. You get it.
So good.
It's so funny. Like I see it and I'm trying to build it. Where do you see yourself going in 3 years? Or what is the vision you have? Okay, I'm a startup company. I have just sold 20 packagings by now, and which is okay, completely natural and normal. I want to become a multi-millionaire company.
Yeah.
Okay, so where are you plan A? I have a fuel in my gas, but I don't know I'm going Vegas or I'm going Texas. So that's what, what is the root cause? What you try to achieve it here? What you want to, and how you want to help people. For me, finding the right problem, root cause, that's the first important step. Then you can invest your energy, time, invest whatever you do in that mindfully in that direction. So and the other recent research, one more last benefit I would like to address also, and we can talk more about it. The recent research I saw, 54% of the business say that brand consistency substantially contributes to the growth of the business. A little something my client always think about it, like, since all of us want to grow and make an impact in the world, 60% of millennial customer expects brands to be consistent across different platforms. I have seen brands and even the founders, and they agree their Instagram or social media, whatever works for their audience or their brand, is looking very different and saying very different thing, and have 10 different typography copy and different style of voice, and why there are 6 different copywriter must have worked from, or designer from the Upwork. So everything is not consistent. So what is happening here financially to the brand? They're losing customer trust. The brand loyalty is not building because customer goes on your website, customers goes on your social media, they see your funnel, email marketing or blog, everything is not consistent. So they are like, oh, is this the same brand? Like, for example, Tropicana brand, orange juice. If you remember, Sarah, do you know the story?
Oh, I don't know the story. I know the brand. Tell me the story.
Okay, I'll tell you the story. I love stories. So Tropicana brand changed their packaging. So they are very traditional with the straw in the orange. Do you remember that?
Yep.
So customer don't even read the lots of messaging, but sometimes imaginary is a brand loyalty aspect. So when I go, I have 2 seconds to pick up from the shelf. I know that I'm catching this. They changed the packaging into the glass and the orange juice into the glass, right? And then even myself, I went and I was buying it and I was like, oh, is this the same brand? I got a doubt. And then I studied the brand and saw the report, and it shows because they changed the packaging, customer was not connecting. Their sales dropped down drastically. And within, I don't know exactly, 3 or 6, then they immediately changed the packaging to the old orange with the straw, the fruit orange with the straw instead of the glass filled of orange juice.
Wow.
and their sales again start rolling. So you see, it takes time to create impressions in head of users. So it's not like one day thing or today. All the platforms, you need to create that impression in mind of user. That's how you create brand trust and brand loyalty, and then your brand revenue increase and you get ROI from business. It's not like every decision is strategically decided what works for your customer. So these are the things like brand cohesiveness. It can bring if you strategize the brand wall. I had written recent blog about when to rebrand or refresh. There is a difference between both. So people, I don't know, they are ready for rebranding or they just want the refreshing. So again, it comes to the what are the problem you're trying to solve.
Yeah, I love that.
So it helps them to make a right decision. And also, I have seen less than 10% of brand, Sarah, it maintains the high level of brand consistency across all the products and marketing channels or social media platform. The data shows it is less than 10% brand is maintaining. And imagine.
I'm thinking about my Instagram, my website, and my email. And I know my email has a different font than my website. It's something that's on the list to fix. A very inexpensive fix, right? Because it's just my email list, but like it's that common, right? You're talking to someone who has some font inconsistency across.
I would say it's natural, because when you start the brand or you are in the finance, or it happens unconsciously, we are just going in one direction. But imagine if you have a clear roadmap for your brand. Even fonts create so much emotions between the customers. The colors, like I recently have launched a couple of years back, the hot sauce brand. So even I tasted the chilies and how it feels you warm. Is it making you feel warm? Is it making you feel spicy? And that's how the color get choices. And it got awarded it got best featured in the GD Graphic Design USA, because the colors has been create that emotions in between. So every action also for the design, like before I touch packaging design or logo design or identity manual, I need to have a strategy that how it should look. Like for me, like classic versus modern. For me, classic is different. In your head, the classic is different.
Yeah.
Or maybe modern for me is Apple. For you, modern is something artisan furniture. So we need to understand and come alignment that's what is important, and then express that into whatever format you want.
Yeah, I love that. I think this is so helpful. I mean, I can't speak for the audience. I can only speak for myself, but just from the way that you describe brand strategy and what its job is, right? For the brand, how it connects you to the customer, and then how it can affect your business financially on so many levels. I mean, we've talked about so many different things and so many different benefits. I think this is just a really eye-opening conversation. So if you could maybe just recap the purpose of brand strategy, can you just kind of highlight that for us, for the listeners? Because we've talked a lot of examples. Maybe we just go high level again for a second.
Yeah, sure. So there are 4 main business reasons for building a strong brand. Is to grow the number of customers, second is to get more revenue from each customers, really, because finance needed. Third is to keep the best customers for as long as possible, retention. Right? You want to serve the customer who fits in your mold, like and you match, it has to happen. You can't serve everyone. When you serve everyone, you serve no one.
Yeah.
And the number 4 is to increase the profit margin. Table buyers, like to increase the profit margin. Eventually, then it drives you. If your purpose is aligning, and automatically gives you the fruit, right? If you planted the seed. So I would say it's benefit of strategy and not wasting your time, energy, money in all direction, but having a clear and intentional action plan for your brand to grow. So that's the thing. And if you understand people sometimes mixes the business strategy and brand strategy, but it's not same.
Mm-hmm.
And the finance and the number person, you understand the business planning, financial planning, those are different than the brand strategy. So business and the brand are the two strands of the company DNA. Equally important. Equally. The business is focused on company goal, and the brand is focused on customer goals. And that both DNA go together, then the magic is happening.
Yeah.
So business and brand must be connected to create broad, long-term success. There is no brand success without strong business fundamentals. And as finance is one of them, backbone of the business, right? And there is no customer loyalty without a strong brand framework. So it is a DNA which it's like a business strategy and a brand strategy are locked in a dance, the couple dances, and that's when the magic is happening. So I hope that answers your question, that it is like I see those two strings going together, business and brand strategy.
I love that. Again, so many aha moments in this conversation, separating brand strategy and business strategy, noting that they must be entwined, if you will, right, to a certain degree, but that both exist, I think is such a clarifying point for people. Because I think, and I'll say it again, I know I've said it already, but at least for me, and I know I can't be alone in this, people think brand strategy is, only external. It's only for the outside. And as you just stated, it is focused on customer goals, and business strategy is focusing on the business goals, but you can't have one without the other.
Absolutely. Right? Yes, absolutely. You got it. It is like one coin, two sides.
Love that.
It needs to go hand in hand together and to align. And even now the business model has changed, right? Like customers are everything. Everybody says it, but even the brand is equally important. If the brand doesn't have what customer wants and customer doesn't have what brand wants, it's not going to work. But yes, customers are most essential part of the brand, in the sense of power have shifted now in companies to customers. Like earlier business model, if you see in 80s, 90s, like CEO, or they have a brand, they have a product, they go in the market, sell it out, some revenue comes, and then the customer is testing, and that's a cycle. Now the business cycle has been changed. Now is business find the ideal customers, and they test it out with them, and then ideal customer, they get the profit of it, and then the ideal customer goes and they talk about the brand, and then the brand gets awareness and the revenue cycle in. So it's the power has been shifted now in hand of customers. That's why very important to understand them. And people are not focused on products only anymore, but especially after COVID, I'm really researching from last 2 years, so much emotion and behavior patterns have changed. So people are not focused on product, but meaning behind it. Meaning matters the most. What does this brand stands for? Like research shows 30% of 30, or don't count me on the numbers. I think yes, they're going to play 30% more premium amount if the brand is supporting sustainability or environment or donating there is a social cost behind it. People are happy to pay more for that product. Like even you, like Sarah, have you any example? Like, do you have any favorite brand in your mind, like, or you buy it and it feels good for you? You feel, yes, I'm happy to buy this product anytime.
Yeah. I mean, the thing that jumps right into my mind is not kind of a CPG brand in terms of being on the store shelf, but I eat meat and I buy my meat from 2 specific farmers because I can see them at the farmer's market. I know exactly how their animals are raised and cared for and all of that. I know what all the processes are because they're willing to talk and share with me. And so I pay probably more than 2 times, probably closer to 3 times the price of what I could pay for a sustainable product or an organic product at like a Whole Foods or somewhere else. And I will always pay extra for that product because I feel good about both the transaction, where my money is going, and about the food that I'm putting into my body. So yeah.
Yes, absolutely. I recently worked with the chocolate brand. It's an allergen, especially crafted for people have allergies, right? Nuts allergy and 13 life-threatening allergy. So I was taking interviews from the mom of allergen kids. One had a dairy allergy, one kid, and the other had a nut allergy. So imagine for that mom going in and not finding the product which serves both the allergy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. But now she goes and buy the product, whoever the product says on the packaging, allergen free, because she thinks she's supporting so many people. She's ready to pay more price. So mindset, right? It has been shifted. The other thing I have seen, they buy in tribe to feel safe and successful. Like, for example, Nike, or for example, Lululemon.
Yeah.
Right? How much you see it, because they feel safe about it and they experience it. And, oh, it's like, you used it, you're my friend. I feel safe. Yeah, I want to be safe. I want to also feel that way. So I will buy it. So they feel safe. So right now the companies have a battle between the tribes, who has a bigger tribes, and not the companies anymore. It's not about brand versus X versus brand. It's more who has a tribe, who's following that tribe more, and it inspiring to other people. So that's more about they buy in the tribe to feel safe and successful, right? It's a no-brainer then for them. And last thing I said, most successful brands are not static, but fluid. So it's again the mindfulness, the consciousness. It's like a fluid. It's like a water taking shape. So if you see the brand, it's not static in the container. I'm going to do this only XYZ, or in the brand strategy document, we especially say it's organic. It's a work. In every quarter, we check with client. It's going in this, or customers have something new, then we shift and things. Like especially when I was launching couple brands in the COVID time, we had to pivot strategy completely. Instead of launching in farmers market, we had planned. Nobody is there to test or touch. What do you do?
Yeah.
But the strategy was done well. We could easily shift and take a shape organically on online market. And connecting was the emotions with the customers. They were going through mental stress and anxiety in the COVID time. So we used to give positive messaging and uplifting things in the packaging, and they connect the brand and they become repeatable buyer. So it is very important to understand the customers have power, but equally you have the same power. It just how you can connect with each other properly and have a nice action plan, and then take a shape of that. It's like a fluid. Okay, now the needs are different, or the mindset is different. It's changed. The uncertainty of market is always there, like how much financially, how many entrepreneurs, founders collapsed when it didn't run in COVID time, right? So take a shape, like a strategy helps to take a shape in the right direction, keep checking every year or 3 years. Now what's the vision and now where? But the purpose never changes. What drive? The purpose never changes. The mission and the vision are like twin sisters. It changes in 3 to 5 years.
Yeah.
So a mission is like, we are going all in this XYZ direction, making 10,000 life. Like I'm on the mission to bring 1,000 women brands to life, their dreams into life. And how you can see the visual aspect of it, how they grow and get successful. The visual aspect of it is the vision of the brand. But purpose is not changing to serve the woman. So I think brand is like a fluid. It takes shapes how the customer and market situation change. So that's why the strategy is really important to do it.
Yeah. I have such I think a greater respect for brand strategy after this conversation. Yeah. Thank you so much. I think, as I said a little earlier, just the way that you break it down, the way you describe it, the way that you can sort of take the technical terms that are used often in regard to brand strategy and make it sound like matchmaking or, painkillers, right? It's just really, really relatable and helpful. So thank you for that. And you mentioned your mission. I am sure that there are listeners who are going to want to connect with you, learn more about your services. So tell us a little bit more about how you support founders through Mindsy, and then where people can learn more and maybe follow you on social media if you're there.
Yes, I'm absolutely there. Definitely, they can find me on my website, www.mindsy.design. And also, I'm on Instagram and LinkedIn. And I love to connect more with people and their emotions. And they can book 30 minutes like consultancy call, and I like to talk them and really connect with them. So sometimes I'm not too active on Instagram because my style and works to connect with people and emotions and find the right problems with them and talk to them. So it's they can find on Instagram or LinkedIn. And definitely for Sarah, you are doing such an amazing job of giving financial clarity. It is like so needed, like how I am passionate about brand strategy, and my clients, they don't know where to invest and how much to take grant for, or those all clarity, money, like business and brand, it has to intertwine, right? We just spoke about it. So yeah, thank you for doing that. And like I'm doing the founders help with their brand and give them clarity of the roadmap, like where this brand is going, and make them feel good about it. They get up and go for a job is excitement. We have like a beautiful life, and I don't hate Mondays. I love Mondays. Like I know people talk about it and I don't agree with it. Like, hey, because it's something driving you, and you discover that in this process. So then it's driving you more to go towards work happily and or create that brand for people, because you're creating impact, making someone's life better. So having that clarity on purpose and overall brand, that drives me. When I see women, especially, they want to bring something product in market, they don't know how to do it. Like I want to see my product in Whole Foods. Hell yeah, I can help you with it. But why? What makes you just because a recipe? Or so I try to go deeper, find their stories and everything. And then they discover, we take 2 days of strategy workshop for 4 to 5 hours, and we go deeper and all the decision makers, and then see their brand take the baby gets born in the market and how they grow. So I recently did, and my client calls me and said, Asha, we are in Whole Foods now, we are in Sprouts and going to Costco. So seeing that joy, seeing that dream comes to life, that drives me. That makes me so happy.
I love that. And I can feel it in your energy. I can see it in your face. I mean, my cheeks are getting sore from smiling. And I feel the same way. I think, it's an honor to be able to have a mission-driven business where every day you can see the results of the work that you do and how you're helping people. And we both enjoy our work, and Mondays are great. And so I am just so thankful that you do the work that you do, and that you were able to join me here for a little while today. And I'm sure we'll be in touch again in the future. I have no doubts, but thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. Honor is mine. Thank you, Sarah.
If you've made it this far, Asha has a special gift for you, a free 30-minute brand consultation. Just head to her website. The link is in the show notes, and mention the term Good Food CFO, or DM her on Instagram or LinkedIn. Mention the Good Food CFO and get your free consultation on the calendar. That's all for now. I'll be back with a brand new episode in 2 weeks. Thank you so much for joining me here today. If you haven't yet, please consider rating, reviewing, and subscribing to this podcast. It's the #1 way that you can show your support for the show and help us reach more food and beverage business owners. If you'd like to continue the conversation, join us in the free Profitable Food Business community. You can grab the link to join in the show notes.